Hey, I'm Kara Passley from Kara Passley Designs, and today I'm here to give you a few tips on refinishing old furniture. With just a few basics, you can really turn those old and ugly pieces into beautiful new furniture. So get your pen and pad out, ready to take some notes, because I've got some good stuff for you. The first step to refinishing a piece of furniture is to prepare the surface. If you're simply wanting to repaint, just take a piece of sandpaper and knock the sheen off that top coat. If you're wanting to stain a piece, however, you'll have to do a little more work. There are a couple different ways that you can go about removing old paint. One way would be a rub-on paint stripper. You simply brush on the stripper, give it a few minutes to bubble, and then you scrape it off with a paint scraper. Another option is a heat gun. Just like this, you turn it on, put it next to the surface. It also bubbles the paint. You let it cool down for a few minutes, and then once again use the paint stripper to take off those extra layers. Once you get down to bare wood, it's a good idea to go ahead and sand it out with the fine grit sandpaper just to make sure everything is really smooth. The next step in the process will be to actually paint or stain your piece. Now that your surface is prepared, let's go through all the different ways that you can finish your piece of furniture. We'll start with staining. Tip number 1 is to always use a foam brush. This ensures that bristles won't fall out and ruin your finish. Tip number 2 is to always stir stain. Do not shake it. This will cause air bubbles to form in the liquid and it will ruin your finish. And the third tip is to always apply stain in the direction of the wood grain. So if the wood grain goes this way, we'll go from left to right or right to left, but we will never go from top to bottom. The last tip I have for you is once you've got a good coat of stain on your piece of furniture, you'll want to make one long sweeping stroke from the left to the right side. And this will eliminate any pools of stain that have collected and really just even out your finish. The second way to refinish your piece of furniture is, of course, painting. If you're painting a wooden object, I would use the same exact method that you use when staining, except use a natural bristle brush, and I usually go with the Purdy brand. A note of caution, I would not use these chip brushes. I only use these guys when I'm trying to age something. They're kind of cheap and their bristles seem to fall out really easily. Now, if you're painting an object that does not have wood grain, and you really don't want those brush strokes in there, I recommend getting a gravity feed gun. They're somewhat expensive, but their finish is flawless. You simply put your paint in the top of the cup here, use an air compressor, and hook that hose up to the bottom, squeeze the trigger, and a beautiful flawless finish comes out. Last, we'll talk about how to seal your piece of furniture. The final step in finishing your piece is to put on a protective sealer. My favorite sealer is polyurethane, and I always go with the water-based. For one, it's easy cleanup, and for two, the oil-based poly will always leave a yellow tint on whatever you put it on. You'll apply poly in the same way that you do a stain or paint, in the same direction of the wood grain in long sweeping strokes. You may want to put 1 or 2 coats on depending on how durable and in which area your piece of furniture will be going. I hope that all these tips have served to help you redo those old pieces of furniture that you have, to give them new life and to make your home absolutely beautiful. Thanks for having me.